All right. Hopefully this works, y'all. My apologies. Hopefully, if anybody is chiming in, you're going to get some sound. I'm not quite sure what was going on before, but the sound appears to be working this time. So we should have sound. Let me, how do I copy this link? Let's see. My apologies, y'all. If you can hear me, yes, sound. Praise the Lord. Somebody made a comment like, be ready for the devil. And gosh, I'm going to tell you, he's every day is like something crazy. So I'm glad you got some sound. Hey, Mr. Armstrong, thank you for joining. If you can share this, please share this. I'm going to retweet it. I think hopefully I can get on Twitter and retweet this. Let's give this like just a minute or so. Let's just to let people know that I am here. Let's see. Interesting. I tell you, I just came from DC. I just got off a flight earlier today. I am exhausted, but I definitely want to come on and give an update on what happened today in Washington. How that all went down from my perspective. It was a bit much. I'm glad that ADOS DMV showed up. They were definitely in the house. So let's give this just a minute. Let me see who's going to join us. I don't want to keep you too long, but we were having some serious technical difficulty. So hopefully people can hop back on. So let's give this just another minute. So those of you who don't know me, I am running for the U.S. Senate right here in Georgia. Big race. I want to talk to you about the race and how that's going to shape up as well. You know, all eyes will be on Georgia. We'll have 2 U.S. Senate races on the ballot, which is historical. That has only happened a few times in the history of this country. And for us to have 2 U.S. Senate races on the ballot at the same time is going to be, Georgia is truly going to be a battleground. So I want to talk about that just to kind of bring you guys up to speed on that. So if you don't know how this race is shaping up, want to talk about allies and what that means. I've been seeing a lot of back and forth on Twitter, and I kind of wanted to chime in. I'm not going to get into the fray of the conversation and the back and forth, but as a candidate, I've been getting some backlash from Twitter because of my stance across the board. So I'm a candidate, so that means I have a multitude of issues. And if you look at the agenda, ADOS is definitely at the top. So you don't want to pigeonhole your candidates, and I kind of want to touch on that a little bit. So if you have any questions, comments, please put them in the chat. Like I said, this is my first live, so let's just see who's going to join us. I see people are catching on. Whew, praise the Lord. So we're going to get started. Let's get this like maybe 15 seconds, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, I didn't want to keep you too long. Yeah, so let's just get started. We can share this later. So for those of you who don't know who I am, let me formally introduce myself to you, and thank you to those who have contributed and those that do know who I am. So I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. I am running for the United States Senate right here in Georgia. For those of you that don't know my story, I've actually run for the state Senate 3 times. Yeah, back to back, 2014, 2016, 2018. So I do have some name recognition. People know the tenacity is real, that I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk, and I get out there and I fight the good fight. I ran 3 times in a very gerrymandered Republican district, came out of the gate very strong. For those of you that don't know my story, came out of the gate very strong in 2014. No name candidate, no damn money, but actually won the primary in 2014. Against a candidate, somebody that was running who was just like me, no name candidate, but I wanted it, so I ran really hard. Got to the general election in 2014, did not win. Got 37%, no name candidate, no money. I was happy to have fought that fight, knowing that I was going to run again. Hopped myself right back into the race in 2016. I did not have a primary in 2016, but did get 43.8%. So I, made some headway, and people saw me as she's a viable candidate. She's been stomping the ground. She's been doing the work. I moved around my district, and I was serious about my candidacy. I always had blackness and a black agenda. I always talked about things that were very inclusive, not just one for one piece of my constituency, but for all of my constituents. So I had an agenda that was all encompassing. And then in 2018, for some reason, I was black. Now I've been black all my life, but in 2018, I was a black candidate, and got to it was back and forth with with some operatives inside of the party. There was some deals made, and there was all kind of stuff happening around me, and they knew this was a winnable seat. They tried to get somebody that was light skinned, had long hair, to run against me. That didn't happen. But a white woman gets in the race, and the Democratic Party, and I won't say the party, let me correct myself, operatives, those that are inside the party, jumped on board with her in my face, literally, and outright supported the candidate. And this woman beat me, and she took the seat, and she rolled Stacey Abrams' coattail to the Georgia State Senate in District 40. Her name was Sally Harrell. And it was a bad time, because I tried not to be bitter, but it made me angry because I was black and I couldn't fight. In anything else I could fight, but the fact that I was a black candidate in this white district, and it was a winnable race, and she was more electable, it hurt. So in 2018, I started my broadcast right after I didn't win. That Tuesday, I didn't win. By Friday, I told you the tenacity is real. By Friday, I was doing a broadcast that I've been doing every Friday since May of 2018. So over a year and some months into making myself, making sure that I stay in the political realm, not going away, because that's really what a lot of candidates do. They get into these races and they go away when they don't win. And I'm not going away, because there's an agenda that is bigger than me, and that needed attention, particularly in my district at that time. But then here comes ADOS. Here comes my tribe. Like I say, I didn't know about ADOS until earlier this year, but I knew I had an agenda that was bigger than me. And I knew I needed to represent all my constituents in my district. And I knew that the Black people and minorities as a whole were not being represented. So I was intentional about that early on. But like I said, here comes ADOS, and now it's giving me a lot of purpose. So I just want to thank. So I just wanted to introduce myself to y'all that don't know me. Hey, Shamika, y'all send me some love, because this is like my first live. Usually when I do the broadcast on Fridays, I have a co-host. So this is the first time that I've done this alone, solo. But I'm excited, and I just kind of wanted to come in and introduce myself to you, to those that don't know me, and just say thank you to the ADOS family that saw me get out there in these last 3 weeks and support and got us past that first 5K. The FEC requires, we are here. Mwah, I love y'all. The FEC requires that you raise your first 5K before you declare candidacy. So thank you, ADOS family, for helping to get past that first hurdle, because now we are officially, and I say we, because this campaign is not my campaign. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than us individually. It is literally a collective effort. I pulled out my other computer, y'all, just in case this one wasn't going to work, but praise God it did. So this is a fight that I cannot fight alone. This is not something that I intend to do alone. I know Georgia, but I know that this is going to require something that Georgia doesn't quite understand. Like I said, I was new to the whole ADOS movement until earlier in this year. This year I came on board, and I can just tell you that Georgia is still not there yet. It's a lot that Georgia doesn't know. I'm from rural Georgia. For those of you that don't know, my family is still in rural Georgia. I grew up in the city of Savannah. Hey, Dr. Marguerite. So I grew up in the city of Savannah, but my family is still in rural Georgia. So I'm really familiar with how we are still not quite free. I can just tell you that it's in Georgia, people are still very, when we talk politics and we're having this kind of a Black movement, people are still very afraid of this kind of stuff. The white backlash is real, because when I didn't win in 2018, it was a white backlash. That was when white people decided that they were going to band together. I had one white lady to tell me, who was the last one on my team, because I had all the support 2014 and 2016, but 2018, like you said, I was black. And I'll come back to Georgia in just a second. But and I had this one white lady tell me that when she walked away, she was the last one to walk away from my campaign in 2018. And she said to me, she said, I have to do what's easy. And that really broke my heart, because I'm like, this white lady didn't tell me she had to do what was right. She told me she had to do what was easy, because I knew that what the white backlash, that was like my first encounter of like what this white backlash is. And that woman was afraid, and all I could do was let her walk away. And she did. So coming back to Georgia and where people are right here in Georgia, we're still not here. So I'm going to need the ADOS family from across the country to really support this campaign and this candidacy, because we're going to have to go into a lot of spaces and a lot of places here in Georgia where they still ain't free. And they don't have these kind of conversations. They don't know where we are as a people. They don't know that by 2053, we'll be at zero. We'll have a zero net wealth. They don't know this. They don't know the data. They don't know what's happening outside of their circles right here in Georgia. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen about the ADOS movement. And then there's a lot of political education that needs to happen, because I think one thing I can applaud Stacey Abrams for is her ability to organize and galvanize voters in 2018 when she ran. She did. She actually, Black people came out for her, because it was historical that we would have a Black woman governor in this nation. So she had a lot of support. But I know that this ADOS movement and what we're doing is going to take us to a whole nother level. And that's another level that it would take a candidate like me to really push us to that level, because, you know, Stacey is a pretty establishment, moderate kind of candidate, but this is a Black agenda. And we need to talk Black, and we need to let people know what's happening with the state of Black America in this country, because Georgia still doesn't know. And I just want to thank you, all of y'all, for chiming in. Cheryl, thank you, and Shayna, and Sadiku, I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. Thank you guys for chiming in. Share this. Like I said, I just wanted to come on, and I'm going to do this every Wednesday just to give you guys a glimpse inside of what we're doing, how we're doing it. Let's talk about the issues. If you go to my website, it's tamaraforgeorgia.com. This is a preliminary website thus far. I am going to recreate it, but if you go to the website, I'm going to pull it up, because I want to briefly go through some of the issues. Before I do that, let me talk about the race and why this race in Georgia is such a big race. In 2020, we have, okay, so those of you who don't know, let me give you a little political education. We have 2 U.S. senators for every state. Senator Perdue, his race is up. So there's 4 candidates already vying for his seat. There's 2 white women and 2 white men that are already vying for that seat. Johnny Isaacson, who's our other state senator, is ill. And the governor here in Georgia is going to appoint someone to his seat. Okay, but there'll still be an election in November for that seat. And that is the race that I'm going to run in. So I'm going to run in the Isaacson race, which will be considered a jungle primary, because they won't separate the Democrats from the Republicans. It'll be everybody that wants to run in this particular race will be on this ballot, will be on this ballot for the Isaacson race. So we'll be running against the person the governor actually appoints. That means that if nobody gets 50% plus 1, there will be a runoff. So just be prepared that we need to get all our numbers in, because if it's 5 people on this ballot thus far, I want to say it's 2 other people and me thus far, but just know that this is a jungle primary and probably all kind of people are going to jump into this race. But if we concentrate on our numbers, we will be in the top 2. And that's where we're going to have to shoot for. We're going to shoot for, you know, it'd be great if we get 50% plus 1, but if we don't, we got to be in the top 2, and then there'll be a runoff. And that'll be the race that will decide who goes to the U.S. Senate. So just know this is going to be a long battle. This is not something that we can just start later. Like, we actually have to start now. The first thing I'm doing is getting the data so that we can start to do our phone banking. It will be a year-long initiative. This spring and this summer and later in the fall, I am putting together, and with a team of people, we're going to put together some opportunities for you to come down to Georgia. We're going to visit different parts of Georgia. We're going to hit some of these counties, some of the people that we've already contacted, and we're going to go around the state of Georgia. We're going to have this ADOS conversation first, and we're going to have why I need to be elected second, because ultimately this is about the ADOS agenda. I'm on the ballot, but we got to move the agenda and we got to get me elected so that we can take our fight directly to Washington. This is a national initiative, so no matter where you are in the state, having me in the U.S. Senate will be an opportunity for our issues to be heard. So just to move into, I'm not going to keep you much longer, but just to move into the agenda, the top of my agenda, if you go to Tamara, Tamara, 4 FOR, and then GeorgiaSpelledOut.com, you'll see the very first item on my agenda is to establish a federal agency for us, for ADOS, for American Descendants of Slavery. There's agencies, if you go to the Federal Registrar, federalregister.com, federalregister.gov, federalregister.gov. Go to that website, you'll see a list of all the different agencies. We need our own agency for ADOS, where we can, first, we got to define who we are. That is the top. We're going to define who we are, a national definition of ADOS. And then we need a place to collect, manage, and maintain our own data, a place where that is a federal initiative, not state to state, because I can see where some states, particularly like Georgia, that purges voters, would purge people. We would have misinformation. We don't want this to be in the hands of any state. We want to put this into some sort of national registry so they know who we are as ADOS. So we can have a house for our data, so they'll know who we are, and we can start to specifically address our initiatives. We're going to go into this further as we continue to do these lives. We're going to go into this further as we start to have a lot more backroom conversations, because not all of this will be online. Not all of this is going to be privy, but you just got to trust the process, trust my candidacy, and just know that we're all in this together. So again, go to the federalregister.gov and take a look at all those different agencies. You'll see stuff like the Amtrak Reform Council. You'll see stuff like the Committee for Purchase from people who are blind and severely disabled. When they can create agencies to do all these other things, surely we can have an agency that addresses our issues as ADOS and to get our issues addressed. So again, I want you to take a look at that. And again, my website is tamaraforgeorgia.com. Just to kind of bring you up to speed, I was at the Comcast. I was in Washington this morning, guys. I got back here early afternoon. I'm exhausted, still have homework to do. For those of you that don't know, I'm finishing my next semester. I'll be finishing my last semester in law school. I'm getting my master's in law, which gives me an opportunity. I don't want to practice, but what I want to do is write policy. So this is my undergrad is in computer information systems. If you could kind of see it, it's probably right there behind me. I'm a DeVry graduate. I majored in computer information systems, so I like data and research. So me getting my master's in law, it all ties in, because it gives me an opportunity to focus on research and policy and law. I want to write policy. I'm real clear about where I want to be and what I want to do. So this is, and ADOS is who we are, and it's my heart. So that is, so I was in Washington today, bringing you back up to speed. So I was in Washington today. I did not get in. I stood outside in the cold for a couple hours. There's great pictures online. Some allies showed up. ADOS showed up. I want to thank ADOS DMV for, putting that all together. They had great signs. They had a good group of people out there. Shout out to ADOS DMV for doing the damn thing. Kudos. We had some allies to show up that came out, and they were loud, and which gave a lot of momentum to this fight, because it was all about Comcast. So we need our allies. And if you take a look at my agenda, you'll see where I have a lot of different initiatives. I just want us to be mindful that we need allies. We cannot do this alone. There's going to be a lot of ways to reach a lot of different people, particularly Black people. You know, some of us, I was telling that we were talking about, you know, I like I said, I don't want to get into the fray, and I'm not going to, but we're talking about the back and forth that was happening over the last few days around these conferences. And I'm like, there's a group of Black people, and we all know this. I don't spend $500 on a pair of sneakers or nothing that, you know, somebody asked me, was my purse designer? No, it's cute, but it's not designer. But I don't spend money on certain things. I'm not wearing the weave. I don't, you know, this came off the clearance rack. It's cute. But it's like certain things I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of money on. But you know, we as a people, there's Black people gonna spend money on what we spend money on, and then that becomes a different audience. I think ADOS is a group of very intellectual people. Very we're thinkers. We think beyond, we're thinking beyond ourselves. We're thinking about our children and our grandchildren. We're thinking about other Black people. I'm so proud to be a part of this. I want to thank Yvette, and I want to thank Tone for all the hard work, and, you know, just doing all the work they've done over the years to bring us all together, because this is a solid group of activists and activism. And I'm just so proud to be in the midst of this. But there's a subset of us Black folks that, you know, they don't move like we move. They don't think like we think. And the things that will engage them will not engage us. So if it takes a conference where somebody has to, you know, it becomes, you know, a little more entertainment or, you know, just more centered around other things, then if we get their attention that way, we all win. So I just want to say, just briefly, like I said, I'm not getting into the fray of this, but I just want to say our allies are so important, and it's going to take all kinds of movements to move us, because we're a broken people, we are a fragmented people, and some of us just don't think. I don't want to say we don't think right, but we don't think alike. Let me say that we just don't think alike, and what moves some people is not going to move all of us. And we're a group of thinkers. And I just want to, you know, just applaud y'all for being the leaders. We're like, what's that, the 2%, the 10%? We're like a small fraction of Black people that are really trying to move us forward in a way that it really impacts policy. And we truly have a political agenda. So I just want to say our allies are much needed. So shout out to whatever that group was. I think it was Stars that came out today. Whoever sent that group of people, and we came out and we showed up in some astronomical numbers. Thank you, allies, because we need them. I tend to really work well. Like, I don't know why I do this. Well, I do know. I'll just say I did nails. I actually owned a nail salon for like 10 years, but I did nails for 18 years. So you're talking about being subservient or serving people. I mean, I did manicures and pedicures. That means I did people's hands and feet for a living for a very long time. So, and I had a very large white clientele, and I learned to listen to them in a way, and I learned to connect with them in a way that works for me. So I love my white allies, and the white allies that I think are going to help us are genuine. If y'all watch me and David on Fridays, David is a good man, and he has been riding and rocking with me through it all. And this man has been doing this work for 40 years. I mean, I'm 47, so I was just a little one when he started doing this kind of work. So David is a rider. Yes, he is, Shayna. He is. He really does have our back. So I am intentional about really connecting with our white allies, and getting them on board, because we cannot do this alone. And white people have to go talk to white people. Hell, we've been saying what we've been saying for 400 years, and they're not listening to us. So white people have to talk to white people. So we have to align ourselves with those white people that get us, and let them do that kind of work. So there's been things said to me online that I have not shared with ADOS, because I don't want ADOS to fight white people. I want our white allies to go have those conversations with white people. So like I say, I want us to keep this on the political. I want us to really talk about policy and policy initiatives and the specifics on how we get things done. I don't want to get into I'm not going to get into the weeds. It's all about getting some bills passed and some policies pushed. And we're going to play politics with the big boys. It's not about Democrat. It's not about Republican. It's about the agenda. So that is literally where I stand. So like I said, I didn't want to keep you long. I like short videos. I know a lot of people don't have a whole lot of time to watch videos. So I like to keep it short, straight to the point. Go to the website. It is Tamara for Georgia.com. We got to raise some serious money, y'all. I had a Republican, and when Black Republicans, they out there, they hear us, y'all, and they've been having their own conversation about reparations within the Republican Party. Little do y'all know. And I've been finding out some things. I'm like, okay, cool. So we all on the same page. Like I say, it's not even about Democrat, Republican. It's about the agenda. The Democratic Party has taken us for granted for the last damn time. Say it again. The Democratic Party has taken us for granted for the last damn time. I saw it on my campaign. I've seen it over the years. We go to the ballot. We just vote for the D's. We don't know who the hell these people are, and they know we don't know. They don't educate. They don't, and they don't have to come out and promise us anything. They just got to be on the ticket with a D behind our name, and we keep showing up to vote for people who don't have our interests. The last damn time. So I'm proud of this ADOS movement. I'm proud to be a part of it. I just want to thank you guys for all your support. So we gotta start raising some money. And I didn't want to ask for any more money past this 5K. Integrity is what I stand on. And I didn't want to ask for the next round of contributions and donations until I came to you and at least had these agenda items up. I came to you. For those of you that don't know me, I got some people kind of attacking me on Twitter about, some of the issues. You got to understand, I'm running a statewide race, and we're going to need allies. And in politics, one hand washes the other. Let me say that again. In politics, one hand washes the other. Somebody gonna get something, somebody gonna get something else, and we're gonna figure out how to work together. And that's the game we're gonna play. It's a negotiations. And I wish, when I think back on where we are politically, Marianne Williamson, y'all, I know her numbers are wrong, and I'm gonna come back to me. I know her numbers are wrong as far as what is the debt that's owed. But if we could get that woman past, she's the only one that has talked about reparations. And if we can get that woman past the primary, we'll have a bigger voice on reparations in the general election. And the fact that we're not having that conversation about getting her past the primary is disheartening, because what happens in politics, let me say that, in politics, people pivot. And sometimes you say some things to get you to a point, and then you say the rest to get you to the other point. And I think Marianne has said enough and has proven herself enough to get her past the primary. And the fact that we're not pushing her past this primary is disturbing, because we don't have nothing now. We're not gonna have nothing in the general election. So I want us to really think about that. And if we got to really think about how we play politics, and if we can get her past the general. And in Georgia, they playing tricks this year. Normally in 2020, normally on our presidential primary, we have all of our candidates on the ballot at the same, all those that are running for state races on the ballot at the same time. They playing tricks in Georgia. Just to give you an example, they are putting the March 24th is the presidential primary, and that's the only thing that's going to be on the ballot. And then I believe it's May 19th is when they're going to do the state primary for Georgia. They're playing tricks with us. And it's like, we don't know the game. And then we're kind of in our, I don't want to say we in our feelings. I don't know, but I just want us to I want us to play politics in a way where it makes sense. And Marianne at this point her first thing she said was, I'm going to have Dr. Darity in my committee. She's made that real clear. Dr. Darity know what the numbers are. He's done the research. The data is there. So that she's got the right people surrounding her, giving the right information. She got to go to the negotiating table and make deals. Politics, y'all, is negotiations and is making deals. And the fact that we're not getting her past the primary it's disturbing. So that's something I hope that we can continue to talk about. I'll put a pin in it and leave that there. But bringing it back to me, guys, we got to start raising some real money. Going back to what this Black Republican said to me, he said, so sarcastically, can you raise $5 million? I'm not trying to raise $5 million. But what I am trying to do is have a strong ground game with this ADOS movement. And I know we can do that. But I do want us to realize we do have to raise a significant amount of money. I can just tell you from the state race that I ran, the most I raised was like 20,000 in that 2018 race, and it was not enough. It was not enough. Yard signs, I tell you, just yard signs alone is gonna cost us like $3 a piece at least. Now do the math. We got to run a statewide race. So we need some significant contributions. I know there's, these asks for these conferences, and we gotta dig in. Maybe this Christmas, y'all, maybe one less thing we buy for ourselves, or maybe, help our kids to understand it's not all about all these gifts for Christmas, but we gotta lock in on our resources and we gotta get this money raised. We gotta get this money raised, so I'm gonna ask you to go to the website. Now that you've met me, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I answer everybody, so you can always reach out to me. Unless you going crazy on me, then I'm gonna ignore you. If you're being disrespectful, I'm gonna ignore you. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna fight you. But if you're being disrespectful, I am going to ignore you. But other than that, I answer everybody, whether you're on Twitter. I'm much better on Facebook. Y'all have taught me to be better on Twitter. So I'm getting there. And I'm getting better. So I want to thank you for those of you that have been teaching me how to tweet, because I'm better now. So you can hit me up there, ask me any questions, but we got to get some money raised. So let's go to the website. The first thing I'm getting ready to get now is the data, so that we can start our phone banking. We're going to have a training in the first and second and third Saturday in December. We've kind of gotten those dates nailed down. So those of you that are interested in doing some phone banking, we're going to send out a call for you to a volunteer list, so you can phone bank from any place in the country. So there's no reason why you can't. If you can't give an hour a week, 2 hours a week, to just kind of get on the phone and call people and introduce them to ADOS, because that's what this is about, and then introduce me as the candidate and why this is important that they get out and vote. And then we'll ask, can we come out? Can we send them a yard sign? Do they know any place where we can hold a meetup? So there's a lot of opportunity in this ground game, and that's literally where we're going to focus, but we have to raise money. So let's get on it, guys. Again, the website is tamara4georgia.com. I am always available. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. We're at the half hour. I want to keep these videos. I am going to do this every Wednesday from 8 to 8:30. I apologize about the sound. I don't know what was going on, but praise the Lord, it was fixed. The devil is a lie. So, but we are on track. I want to thank you guys. So again, every Wednesday from 8 to 8:30, I'll give you an update on what's going on with the campaign, my candidacy, what's happening, anything we need to talk about and discuss. I just want to say I love you, ADOS 100, as Travis always says. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your support. And I'm just glad to be representing you. And I promise you, I will represent you well. And if I don't, I know some of y'all gonna check me and bring me back in, because that's already been done. So, and I do self-correct. So we're all in this together. Again, the website is tamara4georgia.com. Next Wednesday from 8 to 8:30, I'll be right back, right here, same time, same channel. I love you guys. Thank you.